Okay, next speaker. We're going to keep going. We got to get going here. Tina Caul. Now, Tina is from the East Coast. Her team sells a few hundred homes a year. She does 100 herself. I've met, I don't know if I could count the agents on one hand that sell 100 homes a year themselves, like personally sell 100 homes. She does. She's going to talk to you about listings, about listing presentation, and how to actually get that listing. So take good notes, because a lot of you are going to show up on listings and not know what to say, but that's all changing now. So listen up, take notes, and she's going to blow your mind. Tina Caul, let them have it, from, I believe, North Carolina. Forgive me, Tina, if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's North Carolina. Welcome to the big show. Take it away.
Thank you, Brent, and thank you so much for having me on your show today. I'm going to talk about listing presentations. I am passionate about listing presentations because they changed the way that I did business. They changed my success trajectory in my business. So I want to let anybody watching today know that it is okay to become a better presenter and have a canned listing presentation. I was one of these people that never, ever, ever thought I would use a canned listing presentation because I thought I was just great with people. I could talk to anybody. I could walk into a room, walk up to a person and talk to them. So why would I want a canned listing presentation? Back in 2007, I was introduced to an organization that had thousands of agents that were making millions of dollars per year using canned presentations. So I decided to look into it because at the time, my highest income year was $150,000 in commissioned income. When I decided to adapt to a canned listing presentation, and I role played that presentation with 5 different partners, 5 days a week for 2 years, learning how to assess personality styles, learning how to present in front of a driver, an analytical, an expressive. I think that it took the income and the skill level up. So the income went up to $1.5 million. So from $150,000 to $1.5 million. Why? Because I had a canned presentation. So what changed? Well, I think for me, if you develop a really good presentation and you're in front of a customer, the natural ending to a great presentation is asking for a signature. And if they feel that you're confident, if they feel that you know what you're saying and you know what you're doing, it just works. It works like magic. So I loved having a canned presentation. So where do you start, you may ask? Well, how do I start using a canned presentation when I've been doing it this way for 10, 20 years? When I started, I was 7, 8 years in the business. So I had my own presentation. And so I would say to you, if anybody's interested, I'm more than happy to send them mine. But in any coaching organization, there is some sort of canned presentation. So look and research and find one that feels like you. But I think it's hard to read words on a paper and say, gosh, that sounds like me. So I would say watch somebody perform it. I know I've done my presentation now for several different groups around my area and nationally. So if you watch it and go, wow, that sounds like something I could do, well, that's words on a paper that I have perfected and made my own. So to memorize it, I think that you have to work on it daily. I've written out my presentation probably in 10 years, maybe 500 times. I literally have written out the 3 or 4 pages of presentation to make sure that I get it, to make sure that I internalize it. And the reason it's important to internalize it is that you need to understand, why are you asking these questions? Why are you creating doubt in the mind of the prospect so they know that, gosh, without you, there could be an issue. So they're either with you or without you. And they need to feel walking away from that presentation that there's going to be issues if they don't join you. I always tell agents, imagine that you were being asked to be in a film, right? In a movie, and you were handed a script and your producer said, hey, I'm going to pay you $1.5 million, but make sure you understand the script, make sure you internalize it, make sure you dissect what the character is feeling. And at the end of it, if you're really good, we're going to pay you $1.5 million. That is exactly how real estate is today. You are presenting, you are performing. You need to get your head on straight. You need to dig deep. If you're an analytical and you're very low on emotion, you can practice having more energy and enthusiasm, right? All of it can be faked to make sure that you're doing the appropriate job, to ensure that you have more versatility when you're in front of different groups of people. So I believe that agents walking into conversations that are going to cost them thousands of dollars, sometimes upwards of $40,000, $50,000, why wouldn't they have more of that presentation skill honed in? So the third is to make it your own. You know, once it's internalized and it's your own, nobody can stop you because the words on the page feel like you. So first step is to memorize it, then internalize it. And once it's internalized, it can be yours. So we're going to go over some of the attributes that I believe a good presenter needs. Now, there's physical, mental, and skills. That's how I break it down. So the physical is, and obviously we're just getting through COVID, so nobody wants to shake hands anymore, but I believe that a firm handshake when you first meet the sellers is so important. I can't tell you how many people I've met and you get that really loosey-goosey handshake and it's almost icky. It feels icky from a man or a woman. It's like get in there and shake hands and have a firm handshake. Be willing to look people in the eye. Have you ever had that person where you're sitting at an appointment and they're looking away the whole time? It doesn't give you a sense of confidence. It makes people uncomfortable sometimes. So if it makes you uncomfortable to look somebody in the eye, just practice it. I promise you that it is much more professional and exudes that confidence. A big smile on your face. You know, when you're talking to a seller and you say, you know, what's your commission? Well, it's 6%. Any other questions? You know, will you cut your commission? No. Any other questions? You know, just smile and act happy about it and have some enthusiasm. Having a professional appearance. I don't know where you live and where you're watching. I know there are areas of the world where people can sell homes in flip-flops and Hawaiian t-shirts, but you know, look professional, especially if you're new in the business. Buy a suit. You know, women, wear a suit. You know, look confident. There's nothing more commanding of respect when you walk in and you look like a professional. So I have my suit, I call it my uniform, and when I put it on, I kind of, you know, convert my thinking into, here comes, you know, this powerful woman, this amazing real estate agent that's going to take a listing today. So have your power outfit and look sharp. And then stand tall and sit up in confidence. Don't slouch when you're sitting at the table. You know, really have a confident demeanor when you're sitting there with the sellers. So mental. On the mental side, I think you have to maintain a really positive energy and attitude to be a great presenter. You can't come in there and be a Debbie Downer. Nobody wants to speak to a Debbie Downer. So you have to have enthusiasm. Now, can you deliver bad news? Can you tell them that the price that they want is probably not what they're going to get? Yes, but you know, you can deliver it in a way where you still can be positive. Be confident but not arrogant. So nobody likes an arrogant person telling them that they're the best and they sold this many homes. They don't care. They want you to sell their home. So be confident, just not arrogant. Be mentally well rehearsed. If you know your script and you know what you're going to say because you've practiced it 1,000 times before you get to the door, you're just going to win. You're going to win more than you lose. Being honest and truthful with people. So being a great presenter means that you can deliver that bad news in an honest and truthful way and not be attached to the outcome. You know, I don't want a listing I can't sell. I'm not going to take a listing just to take a listing. So you have to be able to walk away and have that honest and truthful behavior. Be willing to leave your ego at the door. And for me, not having an ego is learning a presentation. I mean, nobody likes to feel stupid, to look stupid, to practice in front of people. I remember when I first got my presentation, I would hide at home and I would read it out loud in my room back and forth. And then I just thought, well, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna practice with my peers. So I sat, you know, 2 people down in my office, 2 other agents. I said, let's practice this. And as I practiced it, you know, I sounded less and less and less robotic. So you have to be willing to be vulnerable and feel stupid at times when you're presenting or learning to be a good presenter. You know, I think that in the skills department, you always have to stay in control and ask questions. And that is what my presentation does for me. When I am asking questions, I'm in control of the conversation. So I think we've all met that realtor that just won't stop talking, right? And it's verbal vomit, and they just don't get anywhere. So I think you have to be in control by asking questions. That is a skill. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. I mean, how many times will a seller just have these delusions about, what they're going to get for their home, or a buyer has these delusions about the type of home they're going to get? Asking those tough questions, I think, is really, really important. Being fluid and smooth and working out the rough edges. So if you've got a presentation, you've got to present it over and over and over again. Record yourself. That was huge for me, recording myself, recording my voice. I used to say a lot. I don't know if I'm saying it now, but I used to say it all the time. And I realized that it was because I was thinking about what to say next. So when you record yourself, grab a glass of wine, because you're going to need it. There are so many weird things we do when we talk, but if you learn to understand what you're saying and how you're presenting, you can correct those. See, I just said again. Here we go. I gotta stop now. I'm gonna get on an roll. Be committed to the presentation and doing the right thing for the customer. So that is part of my presentation, is always ending with the truth, always telling them what I feel the home should be sold at, whether they like it or not, and then being able to handle their questions confidently. Once you do this over and over and over again, you're going to see that your confidence builds. So if you're a brand new agent, the first thing I would say to do is to go learn a listing presentation, because that's going to get you prospecting more. That's going to get you on the phones calling for sale by owners. The minute you get an appointment with a for sale by owner, an expired listing, or a friend of the family, or whoever, then you're going to freak out because you're not going to know what to say. And if you don't have a good presentation, you're not going to feel confident. So if you learn your presentation and it's the first thing you master, you will feel so confident. You'll walk into any room and be able to light it up and get that contract signed. So my name is Tina Caul. Thank you so much for watching. If anybody wants a copy of my presentation, feel free to reach out to us at Caul Group on Instagram, or you can find me anywhere on the web. Brent, thank you so much for inviting me here today, and I can't wait to listen to the next presenter. Thanks again.
Okay, my mind's blown. I don't know about yours. So good. So good. I hope you guys are getting every bit of this. So, Tina, thank you. Phenomenal.